All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still talking about the BBI. The report is expected along this week or next week, maybe latest, but we're still dissecting the issues that have come up even before the report. There's been people who are supporting it before seeing the report. There's been people opposing it before seeing the report. So it's both sides pulling in different directions. And Robo Kositany, I'll start with you. Your party leader is on record saying that he supports it. But some of your lieutenants are pulling in a different direction. Doesn't that show basic disrespect? If you leave alone miscoordination, just disrespect for your party leader.
Trevor, we are in a democratic society. Jubilee is a very democratic party, very democratic, whereby we will accept, we will listen to everybody's views, and at the end of the day, the majority will have their way. So our party leader is in full support of the BBI. We have not seen, some of us are of the opinion that we want to see first before we support, and that is where we stand. And that does not mean disrespect. That is why we are still moving on as a party. We're still going on with our programs, and we have no issues whatsoever with our party leader. We have no issues whatsoever. He has his position. I have my position, but I'm still the Deputy Secretary General of Jubilee, and we are moving on there together.
So these perceptions that have been created by your lieutenants, is it just to whip up emotions then? Because you've clearly said you still don't know what's going to come up, but you clearly mentioned at the same time that it is meant to block someone and ascend certain people to power.
I have not said that. I have not said it's meant to block someone. I'm talking about your lieutenants, not you. Yes, I have not said it's going to be meant to block. Well, you see, when a politician takes a microphone and he speaks, you really can't control what he's going to say. So everybody is at liberty to say whatever they feel like saying. But at the end of the day, once the BBI report is out, and as you have said, we actually want it before the end of this week. When the president is back, he can receive the report, make it public, and then from then on we will make our observations based on the recommendation of the BBI report. And I think as Kenyans, we have been through worse times before. This is not a big issue. We will get over it and move on as a country.
Honorable Gedi, with the counties in place, why do we need to expand the executive now? We have counties in place, people can be led from the county level. Why do we need to expand the executive?
We have counties that are indisciplined. We have counties that are insensitive to the people. We have counties that do not prioritize on things that will uplift or empower the communities. And to that, we really need this referendum. For me, we really need a referendum so that even some powers of governance, you know, governors think they're the president.
You think so they should be trimmed?
Of course.
Because the issue is, shouldn't we then fix the structures we have
we
rather
need,
than
we need to structure that and have a regional premier. For me, it will really work. Why we'll have that? Right now, we have governors who don't even, you know, respect the president. They think they can do whatever they want. They can loot, misappropriate fund. They can, you know, do contracts themselves with their wives, with their children, and no one can talk to them. To an extent, they're even compromising the auditors. We had, was it this week or last week, we had issues with the auditors, you see. So what we need, we need to check at the counties. And to the BBI, you see, my colleague here said Jubilee is democratic. Of course, yes, but not when your boss tells you, this is how I want to run. This is how I want us to move as a country. When boss tells you, we've come from this far, we are here now, I want to do a handshake with the Right Honorable Prime Minister and forget the past and move on as a country. You don't want to listen to that. I think that is not democracy. Look at the ODM party. When they were told, I want to do a handshake with the president, and from today, henceforth, I want us to move this direction. You see, they're the ones defending the president, even in the house and outside the house. Us, we are fighting him for our selfish interests. Because we think if Raila and Uhuru, they do a handshake, they work together, then, you know, we are going to sideline someone. And we are not doing that anyway. You see, for me, respect first is two-way traffic. The same way governors feel they're the own president of the counties, they don't have respect for the president, It's the same way even Jubilee members of parliament do not respect the president.
Right.
And we've seen a lot of them undermining the president.
So given how the county government had responded to Punguza Mizigo,
Yes.
given how the response has been, do you think that that will also be a reflection of how Kenyans in general will sort of respond to BBI as well? Not
course.
everyone embraced Punguza Mizigo bill. Look where it is right now.
Of course.
Will that same attitude be reflected on BBI, or do you think Kenyans will be a bit more friendlier towards BBI in terms of accepting it and embracing it?
You know, what
Once the report is out, that is.
Of course, yeah. What you see on the TV and what you see politicians say on the podium is not what happens on the ground. That's why people say,
Vituko
ground
ground
is
ni
different. Na tumeona. The only two counties that approved Punguza Mizigo is one was Uasin Gishu, where Caleb comes from, and Turkana, where Ukri Okot himself comes from. Maybe that's what they are trying to do favor for him. This is our son, wacha tusimu embarrass, you know, let's pass it. But Kenyans are not foolish. And take this one to the bank. What you saw on all these counties that rejected Punguza Mizigo is what exactly you will see. 2022 on the ground, and also the BBI.
With the BBI.
BBI, they're going to pass it overwhelmingly.
So Honorable Wanga, the other discussion around this is that even with the Naivasha talks, we saw your leader, your political leader, Raila Odinga, talking about how he was trying to push for a more presidential system then. Right now, he wants more of a parliamentary system. At the end of the day, from where you're sitting, what system suits Kenya best?
I think this is a conversation we can have. But we have had a mongrel system, which is what we had in the past with the people electing the president, then ministers coming from within parliament, and then we had the prime minister also inside parliament. Although we went through a process where we had the accord, which is what led to the prime minister. But I think, in my view, having lived through both systems, first of all, the one thing I must say is that the cabinet needs to be from within parliament. And the reason for that is just the connection. You know, the way the connection with the issues that the people have and how they are projected to the level of the executive. And then when we had we had the prime minister, and then we had whatever we had, then we went to the pure presidential. And then now we are back to a system which is pure presidential, but then you have sort of a creation of a position that is more or less like a prime minister's position, and that is a position held by T.S. Matiang'i. And that is coming to the agreement that while the president is head of state and head of government, there is need for somebody in charge of just the daily running of government, so that by the time you get to cabinet, issues are well synthesized. Because if you want to begin the issues, all of the issues in the cabinet meeting,
right,
where all the issues start there, you start the synthesis there, you never finish.
His colleague, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has recently talked about BBI and how it's not there to create another position for himself or for any other Kenyan. Do you actually believe that whether that BBI is not there to create a position for him or for any other political bigwig? Yeah,
I believe that, because I think what he was trying to explain is because the reason for that is there has been a lot of talk around the BBI being there to create a position for Raila and to create a position for.
You don't think that will be the case?
It's not the case, because these positions are already there. Raila has run for president. He can run for anything he wants. That is already existing. But this is just about thinking through. I think this is an attempt by two gentlemen who hold aspirations of Kenyans. I saw the tweet saying, "Oh, how can two people sitting,
yes,
say?" These two people hold the aspirations of very, very many Kenyans, and that is why all of us, say, after they, greeted each other, we support that process, because also the issues they raise resonate with us. But what I'd like to say about opposition to that, I've seen the deputy president on many occasions saying he supports the president, he supports his efforts to unite the country, he supports the handshake. He has said all these things about supporting, and I would wish that these things are true, so that, because the handshake, if the president shook hands with Raila, it was on behalf of the Jubilee Party, and William is the deputy to Uhuru, which
if BBI,
it was on behalf of the Jubilee Party,
right,
and you would expect that the Jubilee Party would fall in line. This is not one of those areas where you exercise your conscience. You know, because you can exercise your conscience with issues to do with abortion, to do with how you treat donkeys and how we treat dogs, you know, those kinds of things. Those are conscience issues. But on an issue of national importance, such as the BBI, it is important that if Uhuru, as the party leader of Jubilee, shook hands with Raila, you'd expect that the rank and file of the Jubilee Party fall in line. But what we're seeing is a rebellion. So it is speaking water, preaching water, and drinking wine. It is a rebellion. If you want to see what a rebellion against a leader is, it is what Ruto and his allies are doing to Uhuru. They are rebelling. And if nobody has seen that, then it needs to be clear. This issue that, oh, we are democratic. No, they are not democratic. They are rebelling against their party leader and the direction the party leader has given.
So, Honorable Wanga, if BBI was a product... We'll right to respond to that. If BBI was a product of the handshake, if BBI was a product of the handshake, if these two gentlemen were able to forge the BBI out of that handshake, how much more would they have done if they included the Ruto, if they included Kalonzo Musyoka, if they included the Wetangula, if they included the Salim Davadi? How much further would we be as a nation right now?
And I think we are very far ahead because everybody has been brought on board. If you remember, after the handshake, after the handshake, we then went to the National Prayer Breakfast. And at the National Prayer Breakfast, all Uhuru, Ruto, Kalonzo, they were all there on the stage, greeting each other and hugging and saying, professing their support for the handshake and the process of uniting Kenyans. You know, if you say that, you might as well say, let all Kenyans go and stand at Uhuru Park and shake hands. It can't be that way. We must have leadership. And that is why when, on behalf of the ODM party and NASA, Raila shook hands, we fell in line. They explained to us and said, this is what we are going, these are the issues. We said, yeah, these issues are good for the country. We all fell in line. And this is why it is our expectation that if it is true that William Ruto, who is the deputy of Uhuru Kenyatta, respects Uhuru as the leader of the party, he would line up his troops to support this process. But the reason that is not happening, Zinzi, and I want to be very honest and open because Kenyans can see through everything, is because of 2022 politics. It is because Ruto felt threatened by the fact that we were now not having the boogeyman Raila Odinga to fight together. You know, because always it has been the boogeyman is there, fight him, fight him, fight him, fight him, galvanize our people against him. Now, that is no longer there. Raila is also saying, let's support. Now, that threat to people feeling like, if Raila is now part of this process and we have 2022 elections, how is that going to work? That is the reason for the opposition. It's nothing else.
All right. Now we have to take a quick break here, but when we come back, Honorable Kositany will respond to that. It's been called a rebellion. You're calling it democracy. We'll see which is which. We're back in just a bit. Keep your feedback coming. #Daybreak at Trevor Mbija at Zinzi_K. And 22422 is the SMS line. We'll sample some of them during this broadcast. See you in just a bit.